Hi, this is Teaserking coming to you with Week 5 of the NFL already. I wait and wait and wait for football to start. We're already getting into Week 5. It's sad already how fast it goes. I'd like to talk about this weekend's games. Had a hell of a week last week. I had the big lock, Chicago-San Diego won, and I got a miracle on Chicago. I don't know how they got so far behind, and then I figured the game was over at 40-16 and back-to-back touchdowns and two-point conversions, and we win. So very happy there, and everything else I hit right. I had all winners. And then the Atlanta game, I had Atlanta in 4.5 or 5, and they had two chances at the end to score a touchdown and either get down by 3 or go to overtime. And I was surprised how poorly they played, but give Tom Brady credit. That's why I don't like to go against Tom Brady usually. It was a very small play, Atlanta, because of that. But everything else was gold. And if they want to keep giving me San Diego in points, I'm just going to keep hammering them. I mean, like I said, as long as Rivers and Antonio Gates are healthy and playing, thank you for giving me points. Denver's like God. Seattle's like God. It's just, New Orleans looks better. I mean, Drew Brees is eating them up again. And, yeah, that was one tip I gave you on the New Orleans-Miami game. You watch Miami against Tom Brady, it gives you a clue on how he's going to play against Drew Brees. And like I said, they have a hard time against Brady, and they had a hard time against Brees. If you're ever really troubled about a game, try to look for common opponents with the same style, i.e. Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Brady, Manning. How do these teams play against them? Versus other, maybe like the Pittsburgh, Baltimore, these really good defenses. In other words, if a team plays Baltimore and they beat them, then they're going to beat Pittsburgh. But if they lose to a Baltimore, they'll lose to a Pittsburgh. That's when Pittsburgh was good. I mean, I'm talking about teams that are great defensive, great running attacks, like the Vikings, if there's other great running teams. Great defense. I mean, every team has something. And then you have Jacksonville, and then you have Tampa, who have nothing, apparently. St. Louis is hurting without Steven Jackson, as apparently so is Atlanta hurting without Steven Jackson. So you got to watch the moves and the coaches and stuff. Chip Kelly at Philadelphia. Philadelphia's terrible, and they bet against them every week now. Them in Jacksonville. But the difference is Philadelphia, you don't have to lay as many points as Jacksonville. Anyway, that's just some observations. Let's get into it. First game I like Miami laying 3 to Baltimore. Baltimore's 13-2 as a road dog in a teaser. Miami doesn't show me much. Tannehill I don't like, and I'm not crazy about Flacco either, but I just think the coaching and the defense, Baltimore's starting to get it together. I warned you about taking them as a road favorite last week. Here you got them as a road dog. It's a totally different role. All they got to do is stay within 9, which they'll have no problem doing. Anytime you get a team like a Baltimore as a road dog to a weak favorite like Miami, Miami's not a strong home favorite. So when you get that, that's what you're looking for. Really the better team's probably Baltimore in this game, and it's a toss-up. Take the 9 points. Jacksonville goes to St. Louis laying 12. I can't touch this game. St. Louis shows me nothing. They're terrible. The difference is Jacksonville's like a high school team. I seriously doubt. I don't think they could beat half the. Alabama would be laying points to Jacksonville. So would LSU and Oregon. They'd all kill them. I mean, Jacksonville's not a pro team. I don't know who assembled it. Very weak. I don't know what they see in Blaine Gabbert that they think this guy's a quarterback. Chad Henne's not that much better. Trade for Kellen Moore. Trade for Chase Daniel. Hello, wake up, you guys. I don't know what you're looking at. Take this kid. This kid at Utah State, Chucky Meeks, I think. This guy's better than anything Jacksonville has. That guy should definitely get drafted. He probably won't because he's small or whatever the deal is. But I mean, that's a guy that's what you're looking for. Anyway, St. Louis laying 12. I wouldn't lay 12. I wouldn't lay 6. I wouldn't take 18. I mean, somebody's going to win this game in a teaser, but I can find 15 games better than this one. New England and Cincinnati. Give me the dog, please. I was going to lock this game, and I will if Cincinnati goes favorite. When I saw Cincy laying 2, I immediately bet New England in 8 on Monday, and now I'm just waiting for you guys. Take the dog. Cincinnati is the world's worst home favorite. Cincinnati as a home favorite, if you bet against, is 21-2. Enough said. New England is 19-3 as a road dog. It's the perfect storm. It's the lock of life. If you can get Cincinnati laying 1 point, you get New England in 7 or more, jump all over it, bet your house. This is the lock of life. However, if you got New England goes to -2, then you can't take them, and you got to take Cincinnati. Cincinnati is 17-3 as a home dog. New England is not that strong as a road favorite. The moral of the story: when Cincinnati plays, you bet the underdog. I had Cleveland last week just because they were the dog, and the series was take the dog in the Cincinnati-Cleveland series. So jump on the dog. Pray you get Cincinnati laying a point. Green Bay had them 30-14. Let them off the hook with all these crazy fumbles and everything. It's not going to happen here. If the game ends even, if the spread's even, I'd take New England in the 6. I got to take Tom Brady over Andy Dalton all day long. That would be my key. If New England's laying more than 1.5, I hate teasing where you get 3. So it's got to be, you can get at least 4 with New England. I'd probably lean there, but anybody goes to 2, take the 8. Seattle goes and lays 3 at Indy. Well, we saw Seattle on the road. Barely, they should have lost to Houston. They get a lucky pick 6. Andrew Luck does not throw lucky pick 6. He's too good. I like Indy +9 a lot. Indy's 12-2 as a home dog, and I just think that Andrew Luck went into Frisco and won. You want to know how to tell if teams are good? They go to Frisco as a dog getting 6 points, and they win the game by 20. Now you got him at home against Seattle. Indy can play with anybody. You got him +9 in a place they always win now. Luck's for real. They got a very good team. Take Indy in the 9. Do not mess with Seattle. They got a miracle last week. They will not get it this week. They'll probably lose this game. I like Seattle at home, but it's my point. You don't got them, and you got them at 1 o'clock, I think. So that makes it even harder. Then it's a 10 o'clock game, or maybe, yeah. So they'll be out. All right, here's where I talk about my trends of team versus team. Detroit and Green Bay. Green Bay's laying 7. So when we look at the trends, we've got Green Bay is 9-1 in Green Bay. Green Bay has won since 1992. That's 21 years in a row. Green Bay's beaten Detroit at home. Even with Matt Flynn, made him a superstar when he throws for 800 yards against the Lions. Green Bay is 10-2 straight up in the series, and they're not straight up. They're 10-2 when they're favored, and 10-2 overall the last 12 games. So basically, Green Bay matches up very well with the Lions. The Lions are good at home because of the crowd noise, and their key is their defensive line can get to the quarterback and cause havoc like they did last week to the Bears. Unfortunately, this game's in Green Bay. Not unfortunately, but they're not going to get the crowd noise. It means they're not going to get that little bit on the snap. Green Bay owns them, and as far as I know, after they're 1-2, you're going to get Green Bay's best effort. Now, I'm not saying Detroit's a bad team, and they'll probably keep the game within 10, but Green Bay laying 1, Aaron Rodgers, I think Eddie Lacy plays. If Eddie Lacy plays, that'll neutralize Detroit's line, and then Detroit's weak point is their linebackers, offensive line, and secondary, and I just see, they're making a big deal about Reggie Bush. Where's he been for the last 10 years between New Orleans and Miami? So, he's okay. Kelvin Johnson's a little injured. Probably, of course, he'll play, but he's a little bit injured. So, I like Green Bay laying the 1 here. If it wasn't for the huge trend, I would probably take the Lions in the 13 in the normal one, but here Green Bay will win this game. They're not going to go to 1-3. Detroit's just not that strong of a team to do it. You've got to understand from game to game, it's a matchup. Detroit at home against Chicago is a matchup. All right, we took the Bears, we won, but Detroit looked very good. But that's at home against the Bears. Now you're at the road, so it's a whole different dichotomy, and they're playing Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay at home, who don't lose there. All the trends favor Green Bay. They're a strong, strong home favorite. Detroit's an average road dog. Good bet against road dog. Detroit will lose this game. There's no question about it. New Orleans goes to Chicago. Another lock on south with the point spreads. If the Bears are favored, lock New Orleans. If New Orleans is favored, you make a bet on Chicago. Technically, the dog in this game is gold. New Orleans is a great road dog. Chicago is 13-1 as a home dog. If you get them, take the dog. The spread I get is even. Maybe a 1 on New Orleans. So at that point, I don't know. I'd like to get points over 7 here. If it stays even, I'll probably take Drew Brees in the 6th. But I'm really looking for points, one way or the other. Anything over 8. And it doesn't matter which team it is. This is how you bet technically and unemotionally. You take the points when the dog is warrant. So if either team goes to 2 or 1.5, you take the 7.5. I can see New Orleans. My first thought was if the Bears are laying 2, there's no way you're going to kill New Orleans. You're not going to blow them out. Vice versa, if New Orleans is laying 2, you're not going to blow out the Bears either. So it's just a matter. This will probably be a close game. I like the dog if we can get one. Right now it's even. At an even line, I don't know. Again, New Orleans looks good on Monday night at home with the crowd. But now they're at Chicago, and it's on grass, and Chicago, after getting lost, they're gonna be real mean. So take the dog if you can get it. Here's a crazy game. The Giants are laying 2 to Philly. If I look at the trend in the series, the dog is 18-4 in the series, 6-1 the last 7 in New York. Philadelphia is 10-1 as the dog. The dog in the series means whoever's the dog. It could be New York or Philly. When you get Philly as the dog, they're 10-1, and the dog is 6-1 the last 7. And the Giants are 1-6 against Philly at home. This is a Philly trend all the way. How bad is New York and how bad is Philly? I've never seen anything like it. These teams are so bad. I mean, the trend here, I'll give you a quick trend on Philly. Philadelphia, since 2012, if you bet against them, it's 18-2. It's ridiculous. How can they be 18-2 bet against Philadelphia? The Giants are 15-5 bet against. I don't realize how bad they've gotten. I mean, I guess it's the offensive line. They got no running. They still have a good defense, but this is a game I would take the dog. I mean, they both are terrible. It's like betting against New Mexico State here. It's like both of them are garbage. I wouldn't really bet the game, but if you want to watch it, Philadelphia in 8 probably is the play. Vic will probably run for a touchdown or 2. The Giants, I don't know. They can't seem to do anything. Next game, Carolina goes 2.5 over Arizona. I love Arizona at 8.5. They're a very strong road dog. Here's a nice little trend for you. Carolina as a road favorite, if you play against them, it means Carolina's on the road, they're favored. You tease the other side. You tease the dog, 18-3. Arizona with Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald should play. You saw what they did to Detroit. You can't think Arizona's that bad, and they're not. And Carolina certainly is not good enough to be a road favorite. You know how I preach about that. You got to have a New England, a Denver, a real, the old 49ers with Montana to start playing the road favorites. It's very hard to do. So I really like Arizona, and getting half at home is San Diego laying 4 to Oakland at Oakland. Pryor should start. San Diego is 9-1 in Oakland. The dog is 8-2 in Oakland. So you have a little dichotomy there. Last week was the same with the Bears. They were 9-1 in Detroit as well as the dog, and that's why we picked the Bears and locked them. I think the way San Diego's playing, and they play well in Oakland, I would take San Diego plus 1.5, 2 points. San Diego's a much better team than Oakland, and I just don't think Oakland's got that defense and running that's really going to hurt San Diego. San Diego came from behind against Dallas with the worst. What an interception the guy Rivers throws at halftime. Oh my God. What is he doing? There's 2 seconds left in the half. Use your brain. Just throw the ball out of bounds. What are you doing? I mean, you don't throw a pick six, and yet they still came back and won by 9 after throwing the pick six. So it just shows they got heart, and they'll come back if they're down. And if Oakland gets a kickoff return or some punt return or some stupid thing, then, you know, San Diego shows they can come back. You don't have to lay points. You're getting 2, which means San Diego will win the game. So I like San Diego there. I've been going with them every week so far. Lock of the day, Denver laying 7 to Dallas. It should be 14. Take Denver -1. Dallas can't beat them. Tony Romo is nothing. Their defense, again, with their defensive end out, Dallas is. Seriously, how are they going to win this game, Dallas? Denver's pretty much unstoppable. I think the only way they can lose would be at Seattle. I don't think at Frisco. I don't think at Baltimore. I really don't know. Maybe at San Diego. And the only reason I say that, Peyton Manning had tons of problems when he was in Indy and they played San Diego. And San Diego would always beat them. They'd always pick them for 5, 6 picks in the game. That could be the only time they lose when they go to San Diego. San Diego's got the offense that can do it. But Dallas, there's no way Dallas is going to, you know, keep this game under 10 points. Denver lock of the week. Frisco laying 6.5 to Houston. I don't know. Houston's a bad road dog. Play against 11-2. I think Frisco gets the win here. I don't know. I was never a big Matt Schaub fan. Stupid pick six. These quarterbacks. See, this is why I preach Kellen Moore and Chase Daniel. Kellen Moore, in 4 years at Boise, threw 125 touchdowns and only like 30 interceptions in 4 years. He knows where to throw the ball. He understands who to throw it to and when and what the defense is and reads it. That's a quarterback, not because he can throw the ball long. That's why I preach it. So that's why I don't like Josh Freeman at Tampa. That's why I don't like Blaine Gabbert. So I don't like half these guys. They're terrible. They can't read a defense. They throw a lot of interceptions. And that's really the key to quarterbacking. And that's all you got to do to pick one. That's why I like the kid at Utah State. That kid he doesn't turn the ball over. He can run. He's a good passer. He knows where to throw it. Anyway, so Matt Schaub, I don't know. And I'm not a huge fan of Colin Kaepernick. His Nevada team did beat Boise, but it wasn't because of him. It was because Boise, the kicker, missed a field goal at the end after Kellen Moore threw a perfect 70-yard pass to set up the game-winning field goal, but the kicker missed like a 20-yard field goal and then missed another 20-yarder in overtime. But Kaepernick, he's okay. Houston, I don't know. Matt Schaub, you know, it's a tough game. I would probably take the 12.5 in Houston here. But it's really, I don't get a feel on either. I mean, I'm normally a Harbaugh guy, and I like Frisco. I loved Harbaugh at Stanford. I won a ton on him there. And here with Frisco, I think Frisco wins the game by 4 or 5 points. That's why it's a hard call either way. And the last game is the Jets getting 10 from Atlanta in Atlanta. Atlanta is a home favorite. I don't need to tell you. I keep telling you. 23-3. Atlanta is an incredible home favorite. Now, they lost to New England, but even at the end, they had 2 chances for touchdowns. They will blow out the Jets in this game. It won't even be close. They have to win. They're a much better team. Yes, they need Steven Jackson or some running, but I don't see the Jets, Geno Smith doing anything. And Atlanta must win, and they're a home favorite. And this time it ain't Tom Brady throwing against them. It's Geno Smith from West Virginia. So Atlanta will not lose 2 in a row at home. I mean, if they do, they do. You know, there's nothing you can do, but you've got to just jump all over Atlanta here, laying 3.5, 4 points. The hottest 2 teams with the number is Denver and Seattle. Denver has only not covered 1 time since Peyton Manning's been there, and that was against Baltimore when they should have covered if the idiot safety would learn how to play safety when there's 30 seconds left in the game and not come up for the pass. Outside of that, they don't lose, and during the regular season, Peyton Manning's out to prove something. He's trying to. They'll probably win the Super Bowl because honestly, they have just as good a defense as they do offense. And anytime you get a -1 against the Dallas team, it's like unbelievable. I'd probably put them in 4 or 5 teasers. Really, I'd play Denver, with Green Bay, with Indy, with Arizona, San Diego, Atlanta. I mean, the more the merrier. Playing with Baltimore. I mean, this is how you really get the essence of a teaser. This is where the more art than science comes in. You find that game, and that's why if you look at my history, you'll notice I play teams in 3, 4 teasers, and you know, I've been losing with a couple of them, which has been killing me. On some of them, I'll pick 10 games right, and I'll play one team that I really love in 2 teasers, and they've been losing. But you know, I keep doing that. That's how I've won a lot of money. When I find that team this week it's Denver, and you just pound them in 2, 3 teasers because it's an automatic they're going to win, and then you got the other half of the teasers with some other good bets. The bet against teams, as I discussed, is Detroit, Philadelphia, and Dallas are really heavy, over 85% bet against teams. So that's why I like Green Bay. I take them because the Giants are just as bad with Philly, and then Dallas and Denver. It's the perfect storm. Dallas is a bet against team, and Denver's a bet team. The only team Dallas blew out anybody was St. Louis. They ran it down their throat. They ain't going to do that to Denver. And they just won't be able to run and keep Manning off the field. It's not going to happen. Anyway, that's kind of the trends. So in the only couple of games where the trends are there, it's take Green Bay over Detroit. Green Bay always beats them. Philadelphia always handles the Giants. And San Diego's 9-1 against Oakland. Those are your head-to-head games in the same division where you can really get a good feel of the trends. Outside of that, you know, when Baltimore goes to Miami, you have no idea. You're betting the defense there, and Baltimore's getting better. You know, Carolina, Arizona, Denver, Dallas. I mean, there's no trends on that, so you just have to pass it. You probably look at the Drew Brees Dallas game, and Drew Brees eats them alive. So basically, that's all you have to go on. Maybe Green Bay, Dallas. You look at Aaron Rodgers, but that's how you do it. Anyway, this is Teaser King. Thank you for watching. You're going to make a ton in the pros this week. The colleges are always good. You always look for strong dogs there, but in the pros, it's just, I mean, these games are getting easier and easier because I'm really locked into them. So it's just, you know, when you get a lot of mediocre, you take the dog in a lot of games. And when you get the right dog and the wrong favorite, you know, it makes it really easy to pick these things. All right, well, have a great weekend. Again, it's teaserking.com, and good luck to you, and you're going to make a ton this week.